Hey everyone, happy 4th of July again. I can say that because the time is 11:20 p.m. So, I'm recording this on the 4th of July. Nice. Well, let's go ahead and talk about how the day went, shall we? So, I was woken up really early in the morning at around like 7:30 a.m. by my mom. She wanted me to go in the backyard with her. There was our pool that was apparently having a fit. There was like this, it was making this bubbling sound, and so my mom wanted my help holding like this towel in this in like the filter, and yeah, leave it there and see if that might. Oh, and get a hose and put the hose in the filter to turn it on to see if the force from the water of the hose would spit out any debris that might be blocking or causing bubbles for the pool filter. So we did that, and we were like alternating, like doing that job. Like she wanted me to go out to see if like the pool was bubbling or if any debris was launching out, and then I did the same thing. So yeah, and then she said, "Go ahead, have your coffee. I'll figure it out." So I went. I made coffee. I had a piece of the strawberry berry pie that we made yesterday. I put that in a bowl, and I went into my room, and I decided to finish watching that Looney Tunes Acme Arsenal Bad Games video. Um, it was pretty weird, pretty interesting. Yeah, and when I was like about 5 minutes in, my mom came up and said, "I figured it out," and I was like, "Oh, what happened?" And then she said, "Well, it turns out that the pool, there was this plastic thing that was blocking the path for the pool to you know circulate the water, but I removed the plastic barrier, and now the pool can circulate again." And so she put it in full force. So that was great to hear. Yeah, then after that, I just had like another piece of the berry pie with another cup of coffee. As I was watching a new Bad Games about this title called Balan's Wonderworld, and it was basically like the guys talking about how bad that was. Um, yeah, and then moving along, um, I remember I got bored of that one because it was like, well, I've already seen the video game donkey video. I don't really need to delve deeper into this. Like, his video was much more entertaining and funny, anyways. So I decided to switch it to the Area 52 podcast where Ramsey was talking with, I think his name is like Mario Woods, where he was talking about his experience and like how he had like an out of body experience and things like that. It was interesting. Um, yeah. Then after that, I realized I was running low on time, so I decided to go into the shower. And then when I was done with that, I got dressed, moisturized my face, put on some deodorant, was ready to go. Um, so I was about to leave, but then I decided to check my schedule for the day, and it turns out that I was leaving an hour earlier. It turns out my work doesn't go until like 11, and so it was like an 11-8 shift. So I had a good hour before I could leave again. So my mom suggested, hey, how about you make those ribs and prepare the oven for it? So I was like, all right. So I prepared the oven. I got the ribs out of their container. I put olive oil and garlic salt. My mom really wanted garlic salt. She found it and put it on, and then some garlic pepper on there. Yeah, it was good to go. Wrapped it tightly in aluminum foil and put it in the oven at 275 degrees for about like 3.5 hours. I made sure to let both my sister and my mom know that by the final half-hour mark, you're supposed to take it out of the oven, unwrap it, put some sauce on, and then put it back and unwrapped for the final 30 minutes. I then left into my car and drove to work. And when I arrived, I punched in and I checked the schedule, and it was pretty much front end bagging for the entire day except for 1 hour, which was 2 to 3, the hour leading up to my lunch hour, where I'd be doing a lot. And later in the day, I found out that I would take over someone's suite for 1 hour. So, yeah, that's the day. Mostly just consisted of bagging, being very nice and friendly to the customers, switching out products if they were bad, helping lead customers to products if they were lost and didn't know where to find them in the store. Help this guy find this special seasoning in the condiment aisle. I think it was called like chimichurri or something. I forget exactly. That was a little bit of a goose chase. Like, I looked up a image of the product, and then like we looked in the international section, and then the condiment section, and we did end up finding it, so that was nice. Yeah, I remember I got into a conversation with a coworker about like what their favorite breakfast was, and then like then I told them my favorite breakfast, which I couldn't decide on which ones. Like they said theirs was like um, biscuits and gravy with sausage. I said mine was like, it depends on my mood. Some days I'm waffle, some days I'm pancake, and then other days I'm French toast. But I do like with butter on my breakfast. Then after that, I remember, yeah, a lot was very frenetic, very crazy. It was a very busy day today, so I had to get a lot done. And yeah, then I punched out. I drove home for lunch. The ribs were ready. My mom and sister were hard at work cleaning the house, but they took out the ribs, and my sister, oh, I remember I did call my sister on my first break just to let them know that my to be sure to check the clock to make sure to take it out when it was ready, to put the sauce and put it back in, unwrapped, and they were like, okay, thank you. And when I returned to check on the food, or enjoy the food with my family, yeah, my sister gave me like 3 ribs, or I think it might have been my mom. But the sauce was really good. My sister made the sauce on her own, and it was very delicious. Really liked that. My sister toasted some bread, some French bread with butter, and that was very good. And yeah, I had the last piece of that berry pie with a cup of coffee, and I watched a little more of that Area 52 video. So that was pretty much my lunch break. I went into my car, I drove back to work. When I got to work, I checked the schedule to see what was going on. First hour, just bagging, sometimes the occasional go back. Second hour, sweeps, so I did sweeps for that second hour back because the person who's on sweeps for that day was on their lunch break. Yeah, sweep produce, sweep the break room, and sweep the store floor. Punched both those sweeps in. Then, well, the last thing that happened was like 2 more hours of bagging, where I was asked by one of the CSRs to wipe at least 3-4 check stands down before you know when the store got slow and there wasn't much happening. So I did that, and yeah, I remember like the last thing that happened was like me and like I remember I got in a conversation with two coworkers about the whole PlayStation physical disc thing and how stripping consumers of their right to ownership of digital media is atrocious, and they both agreed. Um, and one of them said they're for piracy because they don't feel bad when they pirate from a multi-billion-dollar company. Um, and then after that, I think the last thing we talked about was like superheroes and what our superpowers be. And one person wanted to have teleportation so they could save lots of money on gas. Another person wanted another person decided to have a float as a superpower. I joked, who maybe you'll float like in a T pose. And then they asked me what their name as a superhero would be, and then I said, "Ooh, maybe you could be the floatster." They were like, "The floatster." It was pretty funny. Um, and yeah, there was another coworker who was thinking about like flying or telekinesis. So yeah, that was a pretty fun way to end the day. I then punched out um, for the day. On my second break, by the way, I filled my water canteen and yeah, I meditated for like 5 minutes. But yeah, on the second day, or sorry, I punched out. My bad, getting pretty sleepy if you couldn't tell. So I punched out, and then I grabbed my sketchbook and my notebook upstairs. I said goodnight to two of my coworkers who were working there, um, as well as goodnight to another coworker in the meat department. And then I went into my car. I drove home. People were starting to get their firework parties set up. I arrived home. My mom and sister were just finishing up with their cleaning duties. And then I remember asking them, well, they asked me if there's anything that I'd be interested in watching. And one of my sister suggested maybe watching a Independence Day themed cartoon. So we found one for The Simpsons. So we watched that. It's pretty funny. Um, it was like about, sorry. Excuse me, sorry about that. So this one was about Lisa wanting to be part of the cool kids, but not knowing how. And then yeah, Bart trying to rain on Lisa's parade, and they're going to like this beach house to spend their 4th of July. It's some pretty funny jokes, some pretty iconic moments. Yeah, I really enjoyed that episode. Um, and then we watched a bit of this Independence Day themed episode, which wasn't really an Independence themed Day episode. It was more just so part of the series for this show called Rocket Power, where the characters are like, they watch this movie, they walk out of the theater, and they're like, wow, that movie sucked. We could make a better movie than that. And so they like get the whole town together and they all decide to work together to make this movie. And it's clearly of like, rudimentary quality. Like it's not the best, but you could tell like everyone had a lot of fun making it. And, it's got that kind of sincerity and fun to it that like, I don't know if like kids these days know about that kind of stuff, make like watching a movie and then being inspired to make your own movie and then show it to like your neighborhood. Like I feel like that like is kind of slowly dying away, which honestly is depressing because there's something kind of cute and charming about that. Like, it's that classic case of monkey see, monkey do, but in a way that's like, filled with like heart and charm. And yeah, I appreciate that the creators were doing something like that. Like, it's relatable to anyone who's ever been interested in storytelling, who's wanted to recreate scenes from like shows or films that they enjoy, and they want to do it in front of like their like family or their you know friends. Yeah, it was a pretty neat episode on that front. I didn't finish it though because me and my sister decided to go walking around the neighborhood to watch the neighbors' fireworks go off, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Lots of really cool fireworks, and yeah, we tried to see if we could see any UFOs. All we saw was a drone, and yeah, it was like what I would describe as probably a satellite moving past the sky, but it did disappear like midway through, which was kind of weird. I saw it with my own eyes. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. We eventually returned. When we got back, my mom got these things called True Fruits to share with me and my sister and her, and we watched this episode of the Y Files about this Wonder Bell by the angry Austrian painter. um, that'd be a funny angry video game nerd parody. Anyways, so yeah, this was a pretty interesting episode. It was like about things like Project Paperclip and advanced like scientists from that era in Germany who were moved to the States, and like America utilized their knowledge and know-how to create more advanced rockets and ways of propulsion. It was a pretty cool look into history. After that, my mom made some beans. I had those beans. I had some chips to go with those beans. My sister was telling me all about the Anunnaki, which is pretty interesting. And then I was getting pretty tired, so I took my vitamins. I brushed my teeth. I was about to record my update video. My mom wanted me to give her a back massage, so we did that. Sorry, excuse me. And then I made this video. So that's pretty much the day in a nutshell. Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed now. Take care, everyone, and see you in the next one. Bye for now, and stay safe. Stay safe.